It's Monday, 10th of July. The first week of the store is done and dusted. It's been incredible, really. Kind of so many more orders than I imagined we would get. There's where we're at, kind of kicking the week off. Just shy of 41,000 items, just over 4,000 lots, and 626 visitors to the store. We've had 14 orders in total, totaling $700 and something, which is great. They're all shipped, which is really good. Some of them big, some of them not so big, but that's just the way it goes, I think, when you kind of see what other people are up to. So that's fantastic. Still need to leave some feedback on those. But otherwise, the store is doing its thing, which is great. This week's going to be really about getting more inventory in there, loads of sets that I need to part out and things like that. Meanwhile, over on YouTube, we're up to 17 subscribers. Can you believe it? That kind of bumped up real well on the back of that Hera Sendula video that I did with the leak there, 509 views. It did dawn on me today that it might be against the community guidelines to actually post leaked images. Maybe LEGO will come after me, but I'm doomed if that's the case, because I posted that one as well. Dum dum dum. And I've done my first thoughts on the newly released images, official images as well, of the Ghost and the Phantom 2, a set that many people were looking forward to. And I'm just about to finish off the blog from last week to add that into the videos and upload that. So here's a look at the orders. This is the biggest order, probably the biggest order I've had yet. Whole heap of light blue grey plates and bricks. Cleared me out of a few things, that one. These light, medium nugget, light nugget, whatever it is, kind of bricks. All sorts of black tiles, white tiles and stuff like that. Pretty decent order, that one. Big one. Kind of good learning lesson in picking. This one similarly important learning. Cleared me out of two types of plates, one of which I'd obviously miscounted when I was putting it on the inventory, so I had to go and find one in another set. And some other part cleared me out of different coloured bricks. These red ones, I only added them in the other day, so that's good. And I know they've got them in the picker brick wall, so maybe I should get some replenishments from there for that, if kind of standard bricks are going to be popular. This one, 20 of these Endor minifigures. Still got some more of those in stock, but that's a army building if ever there was one going on. This one, the smallest order of the batch, but some dark blue and some Maersk blue basic bricks. Someone obviously building something that's pretty decent. This one's kind of an interest one, some plants, some arm mechanical bits and pieces like that. Obviously someone doing a nice little project. And this one I think is someone working on a classic space thing, a couple of canopies and some grill ladders and things like that might suggest some kind of space set. So 6 orders over the weekend, which is pretty good. I'm well chuffed with that. Kind of, it's been a couple of orders every day pretty much consistently in this first week, and you can't grumble about that. It's Tuesday and a little flurry of orders on the Bricklink store. The first one, just some parts and some wheel arches, pretty decent. This one's quite a cool one. It's kind of off that Fang Fighter set that I parted out recently. Some old school knights, shields, some general parts. The biggest order of the batch, a whole heap of black stuff. Cleared me out of a few bits and pieces. White plates, a flat silver axe head, some red bricks. And then this one's a pretty cool one. It's a brick store here in Perth as well, who were short of an item, and they're going to collect those in person. So a good few little orders, all packed, get them all ready for posting. It's Wednesday morning and no orders on a Bricklink store. maybe that's a consequence of not uploading any new parts, I wonder. Just 2 parcels to get sorted from eBay. This one is the freezing chamber, the Falcon and the TIE Fighter, which you might remember I bought used. Didn't actually make any money in the end on those sets. Kind of broken even, I think, in selling them, but a regular buyer. They're all packed up in colour parts and bagged up, so I'll get those off. And the other one is just a poly bag, which I've already sealed up, so nothing much to see there, but it's a Stormtrooper poly bag from way back when. So yeah, on to the next job. Got to think what I want to do next. Probably get some parts into the store, I think, to try and see if that springs some new action. So Wednesday, and the postman's just been arrived, who I'm sure he thinks I'm a madman. The amount of little parcels that I get, he must wonder what the hell I'm up to. But today's kind of delivery was this kind of bunch of figures that I bought off of eBay. So 501st and Snow Troopers, some of those little things, and some weapons and things like that. They were just a good price, kind of. And given that I was adding minifigures at the time, I didn't have any of these, subsequently do. So yeah, one of those things, you kind of buy them and then you think, I didn't need them after all. And then the rest of the orders are parts, which I think were inspired by the B-Wing stuff, but I seem to have messed up one of my wanted lists, because I've ended up with like duplicates of all sorts of things. So and especially these original grey slopes, and these kind of like don't know what you call them, kind of modified plates, which really used to be the roofs of police cars and things like that. So I've got a pot over here of kind of spare parts that came from the original Jango Fett's slave that I've ordered more than I need, which is just diabolical, really. So they're all ready in a Brick Store file to get listed. And then there's all sorts of other things. I can see in there's a light blue grey 1x4 plate, which is a terrible colour amongst the others. But that said, I've had the very similar thing happen to me this week. And again, you learn by your own mistakes. Kind of someone's left me neutral feedback on Bricklink because one of the parts they felt was old, even though it was new, but maybe it was getting a bit discoloured. But I didn't really check it. I was packing it at night, didn't have a proper look. My own fault. I've contacted them to try and sort it out. We'll see if they get in touch so I can make that right for them. And then the rest of this is just parts for the B-Wing, I think. I had these in the store, so I kind of used them from there, but I can replenish them with that. Another one of those, because can't get enough of those. I don't know what this figure's from or why I've ordered him. Maybe I needed to make up a minimum order or something. I don't know, but I'll have to search it. And then some of those bricks again, I'm not sure why I ordered those, but I know that I still need for Jango Fett's slave, but I seem to have it here as well. So that's not very good. And I don't know what this is for. I don't know why that's appeared. I can't think what that's for. I need to keep a better record of the things that I'm buying. I think that's the long and the short of it. But I know, like these things, I needed a couple of those for the B-Wing. And again, kind of that looks... Oh no, it's just the shadow. Yep. So yeah, there's the parts. I'll take a moment later on today to go through my printed out wanted lists to check off what's what, and then get them filed away, and anything that's left over add back into the Bricklink store as used parts, unless they are new, because some of these look pretty new or are new. So yeah, Wednesday, off we go. So in a change of plan, I decided to do a little test, right? Always been interested in this, and because so many basic bricks have been selling out of the store, I went on to LEGO Store and used the pick a brick wall to replenish some of those stocks with some just bog standard 2x2s, 2x1s, or 1x2s, whatever you call them. Some plates, some bits and pieces, just your bog standard, nobody's getting excited about it, not particularly high value, but be interesting to see if I sort and put all of these parts onto a brick store file, whether or not it works out value for money for two pots like that versus, you know, what potentially it could be at retail. But in a good little innovation, although I did think they were going to paper bags, if you reuse your cup in future, you get 50 cents off, which I suppose it's something. It's not an awful lot, but 50 cents, it's not bad. Happy with that. I think that's a step in the right direction. It stops it being a single-use plastic, which is obviously the big thing here in Australia, getting rid of that. So maybe they won't go to paper bags here, but they'll have reusable cups, maybe. I don't know. But I'm going to sort these, part them out, get them on a brick store file, and we'll check in and see how much it works out at. So here we are. That didn't take long at all. Obviously not heaps of different types of lots, but here's a quick overview of what we did get. Like I said, things that have been selling in the shop, apart from these ones, which snuck in from other things somehow. But yeah, bog standard, just stuff that has gone out of the store and wiped me out completely. So just replenishing really, and we'll get them in a brick store file and see how that looks. One of the things it did kind of make me chuckle when I was in the LEGO store is how suddenly your relationship with LEGO completely changes. Like normally you'd be at the Bricklink, pick a brick wall, just hoeing into it, grabbing stuff, trying to like pack as much in. Here I am, painstakingly counting 30 of them, 20 of them, 30 of those, 50 of those kind of things, just to make my life easier at this end. Yeah, funny, but kind of probably the other people thought I was an absolute head case. I thought I had, oh no, there's those. I need to go over there. I was going to say, I thought I had more of them, and I did. All right, so there it is. Let's get it into a file and see whether or not that was an expensive outing and a big mistake, or whether or not it's an interesting discovery. So that's everything added in. Turned out to be 1,116 parts, working out for a value at current inventory average of $86.84. Cost to me was like $34.98, which means a 2.4 time part out value, which if you follow these things on the kind of the different people, isn't too shabby. But what's even more amazing, right, is I grabbed a load of these to fill the space, as you do, because you kind of don't want to feel like you're getting ripped off. And there's all of them, all right? It's a fair old whack. But that's 400 exactly, by fluke. See, it's a sign. It was meant to be. So yeah, not bad, I reckon. That's kind of nothing amazing in the parts, as you saw before. So really what that proves is kind of basic bricks do good business, or good value anyway, and given that these are the things that have sold out of the store decently so far, that kind of goes to double down on that in terms of, yeah, these aren't too bad. So happy with that. It's Thursday and just one order today, and it was a good one for a bunch of minifigures. So a couple of the Endor, I think they might be the Tyridium shuttle figures, maybe. Yeah, I think that's Captain Rex, isn't it? And then a whole bunch of the airborne troopers, and what's that guy's name? Chirrut, can't pronounce it, but the blind guy from Rogue One, yeah, and some parts. But the purchaser asked for me to double check that, given that they're classed as new, that there was no cracks or anything like that, and because they'd been assembled once, I kind of gave them a quick look as I took them apart and bagged them. They've never been played with as such, but I went back through and checked, and two of them have got a slight scratch. I'll flash a picture up to show you, under one of their arms, and the other one has what looks like a seam down the side. It's not a crack, but it looks like kind of a visible seam. So I've gone back to the buyer with some pictures, with which is why I took the pictures, to see what he wants to do, whether or not he just wants to kind of get a refund on those and go ahead with all these others, or whether or not it's goodbye Vienna for the whole thing. But just goes to show, kind of, there was a discussion on one of the videos earlier in the week about what you class as a new figure and whether or not I should be stating whether they've been assembled or never assembled, as is the case with the ones that I'm parting out. So I think I'm going to start working through the figures and marking what has been assembled and what hasn't been assembled, just so people are clear on what there is, and encourage people to ask for pictures if they want. I mean, I've got to dig the figures out of the tray anyway, so if they want to have them double checked and stuff like that, more than happy to do that. But more lessons learnt today about kind of how to classify minifigures, of which, given that there's so many, it's quite an undertaking. Friday morning, just heard back from the buyer on this kind of set. Two of the figures had some slight marking underneath, so we've come to an arrangement on that everyone's happy with. So I'm going to get that packed and out to the buyer, which is good, and then be moving on to some other bits. Those other bits include photographing and listing the UCS TIE fighter that I've now have all the parts for. And I've been saying that for a while, but today's the day. We're going to get that one done. Still working on the B-wing. That one's going to take a bit more time. Kind of as you replace some parts with newer parts, you realise how discoloured some of the parts that you didn't think were discoloured were. So that goes on. And then I've still got this mess of a desk to try and sort out. Possibly a job for over the weekend. I'm not sure what else might take priority. And I've got this thing kicking around. I'm not really sure what to do with this. I haven't had a look to see if it's ever listed as a whole piece, because obviously it's lots of pieces with the sticker applied. And that was from that bundle of bits that I parted out way back whenever. So not sure what to do with that really, because there's one with the Star Destroyer that's in the storage unit, which actually sold on eBay yesterday. So I need to go and get that to break that down as well, along with some other sets as well. So that's my next job, heading to the storage unit to collect sets to be posted out. So a quick trip to the storage unit. These ones are the eBay sale, so someone's obviously been watching Rebels and got into that. I really like that set. It's got a good Agent Callus figure, a Finn Brickhead, and one of the old style small box Speed Champions, and of course the Super Star Destroyer, which is on its way to being broken down, but I need to go through and part check it and all of that before I bag it up and ship it out to the buyer. And then there's a little bundle of bits here that I've just grabbed in terms of parting out. Good set of minifigures in that one. You might remember I got that a while back. I've got a couple of these. I've spoken about them. Nobody's buying them on eBay, so I'm going to part them out. Might as well get some of it listed. And then a couple of Speed Champions, which I have a duplicate of back at home ready to part out. So working on that theory that it's better if you've got more than one. And that camera to angle tilt's probably making you all feel a bit giddy, isn't it? Yeah, so there we go. Quick trip here, head back, and maybe jump into a part out next. Friday continues, just photographing the UCS TIE for eBay. Nothing goes on eBay under Yellow Brick Road, actually. It just made me think of that as I was doing this. Maybe I should change that, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to list this today, probably today or tomorrow, not sure which. As you know, kind of, there was just a couple of parts missing that I've replaced. One tiny bit of paint on there, but I reckon I'll get that off easy enough. Get that fixed, but otherwise the plates and all of that are in fantastic condition. No yellowing at all on this set compared to some of the other ones that I got from that auction way back, whenever it was. But yeah, she's in good nick. Kind of, I didn't realise she kind of sat on the stand tilted back a little bit, which is quite nice. So yeah, kind of happy with all of that. Obviously the minifigure had to be purchased to add to it, and I've got the manual upstairs. I just remembered that, so I need to go and get that to photograph, and then we'll get it listed. And then the other set I have just photographed and listing at the weekend, or today, whenever I get to it, is 75251 Vader's Castle, which I have a loose set in those storage containers to sort out at some point, and have listed, I think I've listed all of those figures on Bricklink recently. That Imperial Transport Pilot, there's not many of them kicking about, and that Vader, I think that's one of the ones. No, it's not. I thought that was in one of the orders the other day, but no. Anyway, pretty big set, kind of. It's a big box, and as play sets go, there's not a lot that are as kind of ahead of their time, because this kind of was made way before what was it, Obi-Wan, where you actually got to see all of this in the live action show. There's a little fella up there, look. Stud shooters in this before they kind of saw the light or the dark, whichever way you want to go. Yeah, good set, great nick. Picked it up on Facebook Marketplace for a good price, under kind of the 6-month average, under the price guide as well. So hopefully it'll do okay. But kind of, as with all of these things now, I'm just kind of going to take my time. There's no point selling this for less than it's worth. When you start doing the maths in terms of eBay's fees and the time and effort, kind of, there's no point just selling them to get shut of them now. I've got rid of so much, and I want to focus on actual inventory, which is what's up next. One of the things that I've probably not talked about before is kind of how I got to doing the Bricklink Store. So I was making UCS sets from my old pieces with a view to, once I built them, selling them as sets, getting the instructions and all of that, selling them as complete sets, and then being able to buy the boxed UCS ones. So in the same Facebook Marketplace deal that I got the Darth Vader's Castle, the guy was selling this UCS TIE Fighter as well. So I've got that one that I bought at auction. I've got one that is complete, but I've never built, all bagged up in one of the storage boxes in the unit. So I've managed to be able to pick up the complete boxed set for my own personal collection, which is great. I've still got the Millennium Falcon to build and then resell, and the Imperial Shuttle as well, all kind of complete and ready to build. I'm missing one part for the slave one. It's that canopy piece, which is just so expensive. I've never actually gotten to buying it, and you've got to get it from Europe and stuff like that anyway. There's never any available in Australia. So this one's for the personal collection, and I'm glad to have it, because it is having seen it built, it's nice when you get to see them built. And obviously I'll get to build the one with all the pieces. That one that I've just photographed came built, so I'll get to build it and then dismantle it twice. Great fun. But I've got this one for the storage, or for the personal collection.